Well, hello, this is Jeff Gaudiosi, and you're on misplacedstraws.com where music comes to life. And my guest today is making his second trip to the site. We last spoke when his band DiVirgilio, Morse Jennings put out their glorious debut record, Troika. They're back now with the follow up titled Sophomore, and it picks right up where they left off. He's one of my favorite drummers and singers. Please welcome Nick DiVirgilio. Welcome back, Nick.
Thank you. And that was all a mouthful. You rocked it perfectly.
We tried to get it all in there.
That's great, man.
Now, Troika came out February of 2022. And with all the projects that the three of you have going on, I was pleasantly surprised to see a follow-up come this quickly. Is it because this is so different from what you guys normally do that it makes it a little easier to get back into it and come up with something?
Sort of, yeah. I think, well, a lot of what has to do with is everybody's schedules.
Yeah.
So, the way it turned out, and it seemed like people liked it, and we definitely liked it as the band, as the three of us. We knew we wanted to make a second record. We just didn't know when that was going to be necessarily, because everybody's, Haken is just touring like crazy, and Neil's always got 1,000,001 things going on, and I'm pretty busy myself. So once there was I think Neil was the first one that reached out and said, hey, I got some openings in here around this specific time. What do you guys think about trying to knock out the second record? And Inside Out was up for it as well, which is a really good thing. And so once we knew that we had this opening of time, we just went for it.
And the first record really took everyone by surprise. I mean, I don't think anybody was expecting kind of that Yes meets CSN harmonies and the acoustic nature of the record. Did you feel pressure writing a second record now that there is an expectation of what DiVirgilio, Morse Jennings is?
I don't know about pressure. I think we're just writing songs to have fun. I don't know if it was really a pressure sort of thing. I think we know that, and we realize we have a sound, and the harmonies are definitely sort of the focal point of this thing that we got going on. And we definitely like singing together, and our voices are blending well nicely. So, yeah, we're sort of still focusing in on that. But I think now that we made the first record, this record has a few different twists and turns, sound wise. And I think it's just sort of like a natural progression, because these guys, Neil and Ross, are amazing artists. So you could really throw anything at them and they'll make it sound good. And so it's kind of freeing knowing that we can kind of just go for stuff. And it may not all work, but we're not afraid to kind of throw stuff into the pot and see what we can kind of build from that.
Well, what I really love about the record is that, as you just said, it kind of keeps that core element of your three voices together, but really moves in some new directions musically. I mean, I think you have the stuff with like the real emotion of Linger at the Edge of My Memory and The Weary One. You have sort of the fun rock of Mama, the traditional CSN feel of Weighs Me Down. And I'm picking up almost a Doobie Brothers vibe and Walking on Water. I love that you guys aren't afraid to really bring all of your influences in, and it's all tied together with your three voices.
Yeah, and it's fun to be able to throw those influences out there and see what songs come out. It's a fun way of writing, and yeah, it's just I think how you described it is apropos, and it really works well. And it's a fun way to kind of be creative.
Now, the three of you actually got together for the first time to film a couple videos for the record. I mean, naturally, you and Neil have a long history of playing and singing together. But what was it like the first time you were actually in a room singing with Ross? Did it flow as easily as it does on record?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. It was really nice, actually. And yeah. So it makes me want to get out there and play these songs live and go on the road with it. And I'm pushing those guys all the time. And I think they want to do it. And I think it will happen eventually. Again, it's down to schedules. And everything. Ross and Haken are definitely on, they're working that their latest record for a while still. So we got to just figure out when that can happen. But I think they're up for it. And I think it would make a really cool night's worth of music. We can do all kinds of stuff. And yeah, when we sang together that first time, it just kind of worked immediately. It fell into place fast.
Now, schedules rule the day, as you said. So even if you're not able to put a full tour together right away, do you guys see yourselves even just popping up and doing some, one-off festival kinds of things? Or do you see this more as when you do it, it's gonna wait till you go on the road and can really do it properly?
I don't really know how to answer that. I think it could be all of the above, really. Just depends on what we can pull together.
Mhm.
It's, and we know Ross lives in the UK and we're over here. So we got to kind of put that into perspective as well. So there's a couple of hurdles we got to get over if we want to do that. But yeah, I mean, it could be pulled together pretty fast, I think.
Mhm. And now this is far from your only project. Your day job, for lack of a better word, with Prog Legends Big Big Train. And you guys did a huge tour, and I know you announced a couple of weeks ago that there's going to be a new record coming soon. Your first with Alberto Bravin on vocals. Any other updates you could kind of sneak in there and share about what you guys are going to be up to?
Well, we're planning, to get out there on the road as much as possible. And the record is coming out. It's really good. We're totally excited to have Alberto. The tour that we just did all throughout Europe was, I mean, maybe financially it wasn't that successful because touring is hard, especially with an
Yeah.
11-piece band. But it was incredibly successful for the band overall because it got us out in front of a lot more people, and we just needed to do it. And Alberto's great. He's really, he's a great front man, and the band sounded amazing. It was super fun.
Mhm.
So, yeah, the plan is to, we got the cruise coming up for the first time, Cruise to the Edge in March, and planning a few things around that, hopefully. And then maybe some festivals next year if we can get something like that lined up there, and then more touring. So yeah, it's just we want to keep building this thing that we got going on, and we have a good group of people. It was unfortunate what happened and how we got to this point. It was not expected and wanted by any of us, but now that we're here, we feel positive and excited about the future for this band for sure.
Definitely looking forward to the new record. And I mean, if that's not enough, you've also taken the drum spot in one of my favorite bands ever, Mr. Big, for their farewell tour. And I mean, Eric, Paul, and Billy are all friends. They've all been on this site multiple times over the years. They're just great people. So I'm not surprised at all that you fit right in there. How did you come to take over the drum spot for the farewell tour?
I've known Paul for a while. He played us on a song on my solo record, Invisible, and I've known him for back in the Spock's Beard days. And just over the years, we've sort of kept in touch. But here at Sweetwater, where I work when I'm here in town, Paul's been here many times doing recording master classes and workshops and stuff. And thankfully, I would always be the drummer in his rhythm section. And then he just out of the blue, gosh, it's been a couple of years now. Well, a year ago, August, he sent me an email and said, would you be interested in maybe going on the road with us and playing in Japan for our farewell tour? I responded like in 3 seconds. I said, yes. Because also I haven't been on the road like that in quite a while, with Sweetwater and stuff and just different things. I did stuff with Big Big Train and a few smattering of things here and there, but a full-on big rock tour like that, it's been a while, and I've been really itching to get back out there. So it came at just the right time after the pandemic and all that baloney that we all had to go through. So yeah, Paul reached out, and then they sent me some songs to, play along to and see what I sounded like and sing the high parts like Pat Torpey used to sing and that kind of stuff. And then they said, yeah, man, we'd love to have you come. And I said, awesome.
Well, I know, having talked to Paul earlier this year, he was saying that the vocal was a big part because people don't realize Pat's contribution vocally in that band.
A lot,
So
yeah.
yeah, and again, it's hard to find, I think, a drummer with the vocals like Pat had, and that's why I think you slot right in there perfectly.
Yeah, well, thankfully, listen, singing has gotten me a lot of work over the years.
Mm.
That did well for me when I played in Tears for Fears back in the day, and other bands along the way. It helped me in my getting the gig with Cirque du Soleil. So it's been a nice tool to have in my back pocket as far as work is concerned throughout my career.
Mm.
And it definitely was a good thing to have for the Mr. Big tour.
And I know you guys have a ton of dates coming up next year too. I believe I'll be catching you guys here in Connecticut. I think in February you're going to be here. Um, is there kind of an end date to that, or is it just going to be as it goes on, more legs added?
The way they're talking about it now, it's like it's up to a certain point. I think it's around May because there's still things being booked and
Mm.
solidified. But around somewhere around that time, it's supposed to be finished.
Mm.
So they're really
And
thinking about, they're really talking about getting to an end point and then
yeah,
having that be the last thing. Yeah.
and circling back to sophomore, what do you see kind of as the future for DiVirgilio, Morse, and Jennings? I know when we spoke last time, you're like, yeah, we got a second idea, second album already being thought of. Do you guys see this as something that the three of you will keep returning to over the years?
I hope so. I think it's great, and I think it's a lot of fun. I think there's a lot of opportunity for all kinds of things we could do. And it's just fun. I mean, it really is just a nice outlet, and so I sure hope that it keeps going. And I think the guys feel the same way, um, especially with the quality of the music that we've turned out for the least two records. I think we've proven to ourselves, if nothing else, that we can do it. And gosh, I mean, Neil alone can write enough songs for 400 records. So it's I think we won't be without having enough material around to try and record. So I think can definitely grow and become a thing, and I sure hope it does.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and just quickly, I wanted to pick up on one thing you just said, where Neil could write 100 albums a year on his own, and they're all going to be amazing. But I love with these two records how it really is a blend of the writing styles of each of the three of you. When you
Right,
listen through, you could pick out, okay, well, this is a Nick song, this is a Ross song, but it all blends together really well. Is
right.
when you put a record like this together, do you guys say, well, okay, Nick, where's your three songs? And Ross, where's your three? Or do you just pick the best of the pool?
Well, I mean, down to it, we would pick the best
Yeah.
songs to fit the thing. But I think what we set out to in the beginning was to have it be sort of like an equal footing of everybody getting their voice out there and having it be an outlet for their songwriting as well. And I don't know if we realized that until we started getting the demos together for the first record. We go, wow. I mean, I had no idea Ross wrote like that. I know Ross from Haken
Mhm.
and from a few things back in the past, but I didn't realize like he loves country music and different things that are just they're totally opposite of what Haken is. But it just proves that he's an amazing music. He's a very
Yeah.
talented guy. He pulls in things from all around. So now that we've gotten to this point, it's everybody's writing styles is working out really well for the other people to lend their voices to. So it's nice to me. I write a song out and then Neil puts his stamp on it, Ross puts his stamp on it, and he kind of gives it a fresh little flavor that I may not have thought of. And same for me with the other guys' tunes. So I think it's a nice formula we have going on here, and I'm pretty sure it'll kind of stick to that in the future.
Well, we've been spending some time here with Nick DiVirgilio. The band is DiVirgilio, Morse, and Jennings. The record is called Sophomore. It's out everywhere November 10th. It's just a fantastic record. It's a fun listen. And Nick, as always, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. Hopefully we could say hello in person when you guys swing by Connecticut with Mr. Big in February. But I look forward
Sure.
to seeing you then.
All right, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.